For your inspiration. No, it should be sparking conversations for your inspiration. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today on this special episode because it is our last episode. I know you're sad. I know. I can see it in your eyes. Yeah, I mean, actually, it's a great feeling of accomplishment. I would have not thought. My 10th episode? Wow. God, I can't finish my own. I don't know what can I normally. Now I do, but before I didn't finish anything. Like I would start things and I never completed them. And this, along with a few other things that I'm just like on this year, I'm gonna like start to end, even if I feel insecure, even if I feel like whatever it is, I don't care. I'm just gonna like get to the end and have that sense of accomplishment that I seldom felt growing up. And I think that somehow that becomes integrated in who I become and what I do. And a lot of it was what I didn't do, because I would just like get motivated, enthusiastic about life and never finishing it because halfway through I felt like, oh, whatever it was, it's just we're in a generational trauma. Our parents didn't finish shit, and I think it just comes to who we are, and you gotta end that shit. So I'm on that journey right now. And so I'm really proud to have gotten where I did in such a little time. And if I told you guys even more about my story, God, one day. But anyways, we're here. Today's episode is going to be a special episode because I've been holding on to this information about something that I gained, some knowledge, some wisdom from a pub. I mean, it was in a pub once upon a pub, but yeah, it's the grounding, the unification of the triangle, like the power of three, and that is the Holy Trinity. I call it the Holy Trinity. So let's start, okay? I think in life, I was in downtown LA, and I remember coming back from like a binge and coming back to life, and being on the train, just kind of like breathing, and feeling like, God, this feels good. It feels good to live. It feels good to be out of, whatever fucking mindset I was when we go into a trance. And I've always sought out for like I understood that I was just numbing occasions, and some message came to me about how do I get out of this? I've always tried to figure out, like, it's crazy because I've put myself in my own hole, and then I'm the one asking, like, how do I get out of this hole? Which is really funny. I'm sure we all do that, right? We put ourselves in situations that are just like sticky, icky, and then we are picky. I don't know what that didn't even. So I found myself in this mental idea of the trilogy. And I started thinking about, I was on the train, and I remember I was feeling good. I was clear. I was in the clear, I call it, when my mind, my body, my soul are just like, feeling united and clear. And I was passing somebody who is, I would like seek out whenever I was not in the clear. And as soon as I remember crossing their home, like I had this itch. It was like an itch, that I didn't want to scratch, but part of me wanted to scratch it. And I stood behind the conundrum, or that of like, well, I want to, but I don't want to. But and I started questioning, well, what's happening there? Like the part of me, I guess the spirit was like just witnessing this, the body and the mind having this contradiction. And I started to think like, that's interesting. What's happening there? And I realized that my body was the one that was calling for that experience. My mind was like, no, we know better. And my spirit was just like witnessing the experience, like what these two energies were experiencing. And I started to think like, well, okay, what else is my body and my mind at odds? And what does my spirit feel? Where does my spirit side with? And I started to think about the things that make me feel good, that genuinely make me feel good, and they don't take much energy. As a matter of fact, it's very easy. And I started to make a list of all the things that make me feel good and that take like absolutely no effort or contradiction. And one of those things is the gym. I always thought of, okay, I started to make a list of all the things that I felt good and all the things in this list of things that I thought or believed that brought me joy. I then started to ask the question, okay, for example, the gym, I like the gym brings me joy. Well, let's find out how much the joy does the gym bring me. And I aligned each one of these items or these activities with the body, the mind, and the spirit. And I started to think like, okay, well, let's say, for example, the gym. Does my body feel good at the gym? The answer was yes. Does my brain feel good at the gym? The answer was yes. Does my spirit feel good at the gym? And the answer was yes. So I thought, okay, let's highlight that one. And then I went up to the next thing, and the next thing was like, okay, how does my body, or how do we feel about me on alcohol or drugs? And I thought, okay, does my body feel good on these things? And the answer was yes. Does my mind feel good on these things? And the answer was like, maybe. And the next was like, does my spirit feel good on these? And the answer was no. And so I went down the line with a bunch of things that I believe brought me joy. And the next was like people around me, like for example, that person that I had just passed. I was like, does my body feel good there? And it was like, yes. Does my mind feel good there? And the answer was yes. Does my mind, does my spirit feel good there? And the answer was no, because it just didn't sync right. And all the things that my spirit, whether it was my mind or like if one of them was at contradiction, it always seems like the body always feels good everywhere, right? All the things the body calls. But I started to question all the things that my body, my mind, and my soul did align. And where they did align, I felt like it was almost like a puzzle, like that fit. Or like if we were playing like, the game Sorry, the game board Sorry. I don't know if you guys ever played it. But like if you ask every of these questions, it's like, and they all align, then you can move forward. You can move a piece forward. And I think that is truly like a lot of those questions. If I just ask in every single thing, any activity that I feel uncertain, and I'm like, how does my body feel about this? How does my mind feel about this? And how does my soul feel about this? And if one of them doesn't feel right, then the answer is no. It's a no-go. Just one of them, if all of them feel good, then it's a yes. And what I'm trying to say is like, there's two paths. The path that we are aligned and the path that we are, I guess, unaligned. What's the word? Disaligned? Whatever, And how we're moving through life is on either one of these paths. They're parallel. And ultimately, they can come in and then they go back. But like we navigate our life through these moments. And I feel that the more, if we question the things that we do and like see how does our skin feel, how does our soul feel, how does our mind feel within that activity or in anything, any given situation, and the answer, if one of those answers from the Trinity comes as like uncertain or no, then it's not right. It doesn't feel right. It just doesn't sit on the seat of the soul. So move on. The best thing is to do the opposite. Always asking yourself these questions, verifying with the Holy Trinity, will bring you much more peace, and it will align you with your sense of direction and where you need to go. And I neglected that behavior or those questions, that inquiry for a while until now. And life feels like I'm playing, like life is literally like a playground. Some things are difficult, but if you trust that calling, my God, you are in the clear. Smooth surfing. So that's where I'm at. And that's the Holy Trinity. And that's where we go. So the next time you feel uncertain or you feel unsure or something just doesn't feel right and you don't have the gut to, or you feel blinded or whatever it is, ask all three of the, of the parts of you, find out, how they're doing. And you'll see that the answer is clear. And if one of them doesn't feel right, the answer is no. So it's easy like that. I mean, we're being steered by the Trinity everywhere. And sometimes we ignore them. And ignoring a part of us is really disaligning ourselves with the universe and with all the natural causes and everything that's bringing us to what we want. That's our struggle, that's our suffering, and that's life. But how much more do you want to be, muting the Trinity or, all the voices in you? And I'm not talking about the crazy ones. Spark love. Until next time. Wait, now I feel like I'm jerking off people. Maybe they were. In the 60s? This is for no, not on the eyes. Yes. I don't know what this means. I don't know. Anyways.